Great, great, great. So welcome everyone to Uncovering Spiritual Gifts with Astrocartography. Oh God, I have a lot of sirens over here. With our guest speaker today, Arwa, an incredible astrologist, and so happy that she came on today. This is her second event with us here on Uncovering Spiritual Gifts. I have a lot of noise over here. Sorry, I'm in Boston. I'm in like the depths of the city right now. So yes, thank you everyone for coming. So I think a couple of people I know, a couple of people this is their first event, or I'm just meeting you for the first time. So I'm Mish. I am a practicing psychic medium, and I created Uncovering Spiritual Gifts just to create a platform where individuals who have spiritual gifts can come to a safe space and be able to talk about their gifts and share with individuals that they are interested in sharing their gifts, whether it's in astrology, plant medicine, psychic gifts, or anything under the umbrella of spirituality. So today with astrocartography, I am going to pass it over to Arwa to share more about this particular topic. But first, I do like to make sure that we get to know each other. I think a couple people are going to come back on in a minute here. But before we get into the topic, I would love to just to get to know you a bit more. I think like I said, a couple of you I do know. So if you want to share your name, where you're from, and also any gifts that you're currently aware of, or maybe some gifts you're uncovering. And that's okay if you're not aware of them yet. Maybe this is what this group is for you. So yeah, so once again, my name is Mish. I'm originally from Sutton, Massachusetts, just an hour outside of Boston. And I have the gift of clairvoyance and clairaudience. So I'm a practicing medium. And I have a big group of friends who I want to help them practice within their gifts as well. So yeah, let's pass it over to Arwa. Go ahead.
Hi everybody. I'm Arwa. I'm an astrologer, just like me said. Where I am currently in Austin. Last time I was in Florida 2 weeks ago when we were talking. But I'm in Austin right now. I'm originally Arab. I was born in United Arab Emirates. But me and Mish met in Mexico, and yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Awesome. All right, let's pass it over to Yesenia.
Hi, I'm Yesenia. I'm in the Greater Boston area, and I've been coming to these meetings because I'm interested in a lot of different things with astrology, all of that.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. All right. Go ahead, Lene. Why don't you give your introduction?
Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here. I am in Northern Virginia. I live in a city called Centerville, and I am just very interested in gifts and learning more about it. I think I'm going through an awakening process, and so I just wanted to tap into my divine feminine and see if I can build upon that. That's about it.
Great. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming. Very excited to see you unfolding in your gifts and whatever they show for you. That's exciting. All right, let's go ahead. Brittany, why don't you share? Oh, you still there, Brittany?
Yes, a second. Sorry. I was trying to find. All right. Hi, I'm Brittany Steam, and this is my third time. I'm still new to everything. I just have dreams. I don't know. That's it.
Totally a gift. Absolutely. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for coming. And last, Reverend, I'm assuming Reverend Simeon. Did I say that correctly? Do you want to give a brief introduction of your name, where you're from, and any spiritual gifts that you're aware of? No, that's okay. Maybe a bit later. All right. So, yeah, like I said, let's just get started. Astrocartography. I'm ready to learn a lot because there's a lot of questions that I have, especially being a traveler. I want to know where in the world I'm supposed to go for everything. So Arwa, it's your floor. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay, so I do think I usually do my reports written because astrocartography can be a lot. So I'm gonna share a link with you. I don't think you've already, I hope you have your date of birth and time of birth. So I'm gonna share a website that I use, or you can use any website. And I would like you to pull out your chart. I'm gonna give you 2 links. So let me just type that here, AstroSeek, or if you already have your birth chart. But if you already have your birth chart, I would like you to change it to whole sign houses, and I'll explain that why, because that's the technique I use. So Mish, I cannot share my screen. Would you be able to? I can share screen now. Oh, I think Rev wanna say something. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. This is the website that I use. I'll just input your info, and when you pull out your chart, I would like you to go to extended setting and change it to whole sign. If everybody can do that. And then the other website is astro.com. And that's where you're going to be able to see your astrocartography chart. So this is the other website.
Is it called Astrology? Hold on, Astrology location, right?
This one is just astro.com.
Oh, sorry, no, on AstroSeek, like when you were on that main page, did you go to a specific link? Sorry, I want to make sure everyone, like when you go. So go back to AstroSeek. Yeah, and then where did you go from there? Sorry.
Someone needs to enter, so I'm just going to admit them. I don't think you're going to be. Okay. So I already have a login. It is free to pull it. So maybe you show me how it looks in your screen.
We can see the same thing.
Okay, so
astrocartography chart from this page, so everyone knows where to go.
No, just pull your chart. You don't need to pull astrocartography, just your birth chart.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, just your birth chart.
Cool.
So calculate birth chart and then change to extended setting, and right here, whole sign. Okay. And the other website, Mish, if you can go with me, I don't know, just double check, let me know if everything's okay. So it's astro.com, and you input your data. I think when you click after yours, your name, you'll scroll all the way to the bottom, and it's Astro Click Travel. Is that okay?
Is anyone having issues locating theirs? Just go ahead and you can raise your hand, or you could send me a private message. That's okay too. So that way I can help you in the back end while Arwa's sharing.
Brittany?
Do we need to sign up?
I don't think you need to know.
No, no.
Miss, she didn't sign up, right? And it's fine?
No. Yeah, I'm just trying to find it on, oops. I'm just trying to find it on my end. Hi, Eva. Hi, Ellen. We're just getting started. I'm going to drop the, let's see. What link should I get you to faster?
Astroseek.com for your birth chart. And astro.com for the astro map.
All right. And so maybe for the people that just came in, if you want to go on to astro.com from like the very beginning and then through and show how you got to where you are now.
The astro.com, yeah?
Yeah.
So once you input your information, I think you'll
Well, just in
scroll.
case people don't have their information already put in, is there a way that you can show them how to get there from the main screen?
Let me log out. Let's see if that's. I don't know if there is
You have to create a
free horoscope. Sorry,
Okay.
I have not actually. I
That's
thought
okay.
it was gonna be.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, location astrology. So if you go to the, if you go to the 3 dashes, and then that will open up a bar on the left. And then if you scroll down to free horoscopes, if you open that, and then you go down to where it says locational astrology. Yep. And then
Okay,
you
so Astroclick travel.
ask, yes, exactly. Did anyone need to see that again? No, you got it. So astro.com, 3 bars, down to free horoscopes, location astrology, Astroclick travel. If you're still having issues, just let me know. I can send you there. Okay.
Is that how you did it, Mish? And it was fine?
Yeah, that's how I got it. That's how I got to it. And then it gave you the option to add your date of birth, your name, and then you can see your chart.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so astrocartography. Let me just explain if anyone doesn't know what astrocartography is. It's a tool. It's still astrology. It is a tool where we use astrology to locate or to find the best places for us based on our birth chart for different goals. So maybe it's love, maybe it's money, but it needs your time of birth, your date of birth, and all that stuff. It's still astrology. So it's not something that you could do without astrology. Of course, today I'm going to show you some methods that you can do to find the place based on what your goals are, and I'll tell you how to get to that. But the best way that you can do astrocartography, where you can get the correct information, is via a relocation chart, and that's basically a new birth chart for you. With the place that you want to locate to, and that needs to be interpreted. So let me just, if everybody has their birth chart open, I want you to go to, let me get here. So you probably, I don't know if you're already familiar with your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon, but when you go on astroseek.com, there is your birth chart, and then there's dominance here, and it shows you your highest planet. Can everybody find that? Okay. And that's basically telling you your strongest planet or your strongest sign in your chart. So for example, a planet is dominant when it's in its home sign. I'm going to show you another table, so I'm going to have to stop screen this. There's going to be like a lot of stuff in this presentation. This is really important. So let me just highlight the first 2 columns. Okay. So a planet is dominant when it's in its home sign. So for example, every planet, sun and moon are planets in astrology. The sun is ruled by Leo. Moon is ruled by Cancer. So for example, if I had my sun in Leo, that means my sun is strong. And same for the similar. I have, for example, a weak Mars. My Mars, it's fallen. It's in the sign of Cancer. So, which is opposite of where it should be. So maybe you want to take a screenshot of this or a picture of this, because you're going to use this to know what's your dominant planets. So this is really important. And also the technique that we're going to use to make sense of the astromap map in the astro.com website. So in general, the sun represents our ego. It's a place where we thrive, where we shine. In general, I'm going to always say in general, because your chart needs to be interpreted as a whole. Someone who has a sun with the south node would not have a good sun. So I'm just going to say a lot in general, because I'm going to give you simple techniques, but of course, everything really has to be interpreted as a whole. Okay. So your sun in the sun line, I'm going to talk about sun line. I'm going to go through each lines. The sun line in general will be a place where you would be able to express yourself, shine, have vitality. The moon naturally would be the place where you would feel at home, be able to relax, be able to so sun is like your outer world, and the moon is your inner world. Mercury will be a place where there will be a lot of learning, communication, movement, traveling. Mercury is also associated with the sign of Gemini, which rules naturally the third house. Venus is love, but it's not just love, it's also peace, harmony, it's everything that we value. So I don't know if everyone has been reevaluating what they value the most the last few weeks, because Venus is in retrograde. So it's not all about relationship breaking up or relationship starting, but since Venus has been retrograde, a lot of us tend to evaluate or reevaluate things that we value the most. Mars is our aggression, our passion. It's also sex, sexuality, but it's one of the malefic planets. Jupiter is expansion, so this is one of the benefic planets. Expansion, teaching, higher education. Saturn is restriction. Uranus is ups and downs, instability, but it could also be sudden changes, and that could be good and bad. And then Pluto is big transformation, and Neptune can be dreamy, but can also be illusion. Okay, so I'm going to share that with you at the end as well, but just a general overview of what each planets mean. Now, how many people are actually already familiar with astrocartography or have already played with it? Okay, anybody who isn't? Most people are. It seems like most people are. Lena, is it?
Not.
Eva or Brittany?
I've not. I'm new.
Okay, you're
I
not.
don't know anything about that, no.
So, okay, so in general,
I got a little overwhelmed by all the lines.
I'm gonna share what the planets mean. So don't worry about that. I will share that, but it's just a general overview. But is it Eva?
Yeah.
Have you used astrocartography before? Are you familiar with like the map in here?
I did the map before, and then I was like trying to read through everything, and I got a bit overwhelmed.
Okay.
So I
Okay,
did do
so
it just recently again on that site.
okay, so before I show you the way, the correct way of doing astrocartography, what I believe is the correct way of astrocartography, I'm gonna go talk about what's the wrong way of doing astrocartography. So a lot of people think Jupiter and Venus, like Venus is gonna be the line where I find love. So let's go to Venus. That's where I'm gonna meet my Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. And Jupiter is gonna be the planet or the line that I'm gonna be able to make more money. Yes, that's what Jupiter means in general, and Venus represent love, but that's not what it means for every single person. So that's one thing I see a lot. I'm in some astrocartography groups in Facebook, and people think Venus, I'm gonna find love, Jupiter, I'm gonna make money, and that's not what it means. Every person's chart is different. So for example, if Venus rules your 7th house, and 7th house is relationship, then yes, Venus is going to be the line where you find love. So let me show you another picture. So this is a chart that basically explains what each house in a natal chart represent, and each house represent the same thing. Sorry, is there another question? Mish. Thank you. Okay, so the first house is yourself. Home is your first house. I'm not going to go through every single one, but first house is self, fourth house is home, seventh house is relationship, ninth house, 10th house is career. And then you have cardinal like houses, second house and eighth house are usually money houses. So at the start of the call, I told you to pull your chart in whole house sign, right? So if you go back to your chart.
Should we do that one more time, just to make sure that it came in?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So as you see, that's the website I use. I just prefer it, but you can use any sign, any website, excuse me. But be careful because most websites, if not all, usually use Placidius, which is fine. You can use Placidius, it's not wrong. But the technique I'm gonna show you to how to find the best places for you, I use house rulership. So I need to pull the chart in whole house signs. So that's the chart. You would just go here, extended setting, and you will change it to whole sign. Normally, most websites have it in Placidius, but I use whole sign. Then you're just gonna draw. So this is your chart, Mish. So for example, let's say Mish thought, or I know this is something very common, a lot of people here, Venus is the line where you're gonna find love. If I look at Mish chart, Venus rules her seventh house, is that right? Yes, rules your seventh house, and it also rules your second house. So Venus line, yes, for you would be a place where you're likely to find love, but also it will be a place where you will make more money. Okay, so the first table I've showed you, I think you've already shared it in the chat, the purple one. So based on what your goals are, so you want to first identify what your goal is. So for example, if my goal is make money, I'm going to look at the second house and the eighth house. Okay, second house is your daily income, let's say. Eighth house is making money through others. So that could be, there's different ways. I mean, 10th house is also career, and fifth house would be also a way of making money if you have your own business. But I would look at the second and the eighth house. So let's go back to Mish chart. So second house for you is ruled by Venus, and the eighth house is actually ruled by Mars. Okay. When we look at a chart, I said to you there are two malefic and there's two benefic planets. So the two are Sun. The malefic planets are Mars and Saturn. Okay, if you have a day chart, and a day chart, it doesn't matter if it's AM and PM. A day chart, if your sun is above the horizon, this is a day chart. So the sun is above the horizon, then your malefic will be Mars, and the great benefic will be Jupiter. So the stronger malefic is Mars over Saturn, and the stronger malefic will be Jupiter over Venus. If your sun is under the horizon, then it would be Venus is your stronger, and Saturn will be the most challenging line. Okay, so for example,
explain that one more time. I think I see a lot of confused faces. So I want to make sure everyone understands.
Yeah, that's fine. So everyone's charts looks like this. You have ascendant, DC, IC, MC. This is the horizon, IC to DC. If your sun is above the horizon, then you have a day chart. Then your benefic is Jupiter, and your malefic, so your most rewarding planet will be Jupiter, and your most challenging planet will be Mars. In comparison to if it's under the horizon, your benefic would be Venus, and your malefic will be Saturn. Yeah. So for example, let's say Mish said, I want to make more money. So I would look at the sign that rules the planet that, excuse me, rules her second house. Her second house is Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. If you look at the table, the purple table, and I would go for a Venus line. Now, this is in general. This is general overview. Of course, I have to look, or we have to look to make sure that her Venus is happy. Mrs. Venus is happy because it's in its home sign. It's in Libra. So she does have a strong Venus. But remember, I said her 8th house is ruled by Mars, but that's her malefic planet. That's her challenging. So I would say stay away from your Mars, because that would probably be a more challenging line, and go towards your Venus. So I know Astrocartography can be too much. That's why I said it's better you pull your charts first. But actually, Mish, you actually have a strong Mars. So I don't think a Mars line will actually be that challenging for you in comparison to some. I don't think so. So let me just go back. So a lot of like online, I see like online, go to your Venus line and avoid Pluto and avoid Mars and avoid Saturn. But that's not always the case. Sometimes depends on what these planets rules. So for me, Mars, Pluto is my dominant planet, actually. People think, oh, Pluto is the worst line, and I'm gonna experience a lot of transformation, but that's my dominant line. And I was born on a Pluto ascendant. So I'm not fearing Pluto. In fact, it's just part of who I am. Whereas Mars, for example, my Mars is fallen. It's in a weak sign. I would stay away from a Mars line. Yeah. Okay. Can I ask if anybody has questions, or if there's, maybe I should go on a certain tangent?
So can you show us how we know what our dominant signs are based on that birth chart again that I know you had done?
Yeah, you click on dominance here. And you'll see your dominance planets. But you do have to do a little bit of work of going back to your chart and literally like write all the planets down, and then write down if they're based on the purple table, if they're in fallen sign. So separate them by fallen sign and by exalted signs. So let me just go back to that table. So for example, I said the sun is ruled by Leo, but the sun is also very, very happy in Aries. But if the sun is in Libra, then it would be fallen, and Aquarius also so much. So I would go through each of my planets and see if they're happy or not. Yeah. Another thing people go wrong in, let's say the same, we're gonna still continue to use Mish's chart. Same thing, Venus, I said to her, Venus is great for you for love and for making money. But let's just imagine she had Saturn right next to her Venus. That wouldn't manifest the same way, because her Venus is very close to Saturn. And let's say Mish came to me because she has challenging relationships. That's not actually something that I will lie to her and be like, yes, if you move to this place, it's gonna make all your relationship good. This is actually something in your natal chart, and this is something you have to remedy. Relocating, well, might ease it, but it's not gonna erase your original natal chart. Yeah, so that's why I'm saying we have to look at the chart as a whole. We cannot just look at one line or one aspect. So these are just few things. So so let's say I wanted to work or find home. Home is your 4th house. 4th house, but also your moon. Your moon is really important. So I would look at the ruler of my 4th house. So Mish has Cancer. The ruler of Cancer is the moon. And your moon is in a Leo sign. Yeah. So you could use the astro.com to look at your moon line. Or you could also find cities or countries that are Leo sun. And I can share that list with you now. I have it on my website. So there is a list. Sorry, Brave, you have a question?
Yeah. My name is Diane, by the way.
Oh, Diane.
I
I don't know.
I don't know why it's showing up that way. Anyways, what if you have no planets in the fourth house? You have nothing.
You look at the ruler of your fourth house. You still have a home. So what sign is your fourth house?
Let me look.
Good question.
What sign is my fourth house? I can't. Oh, let me go back to my birth chart because I can't tell from dominance. It is Taurus.
So the ruler of Taurus is Venus. So you would look at Venus lines, but make sure that your Venus is in a happy sign, or it's happy, it's not negatively aspected. But yes, Venus line would be good for you. And the other thing we would look for is your moon, because we're always happy where our moon is. Yeah, our moon is our internal need.
Okay.
So I just shared the link. I don't know if you all like opened it, but I do need to update the list. So this is a list of countries. Every country and city has a birth chart. So for example, the United States is Cancer Sun, 4th of July. The rising is Sagittarius. So let's say I have a strong, what did I say? Cancer Sun. So the United States is a Cancer Sun. If I have a strong Cancer in my house, then I'm likely to enjoy the United States. But let's say I have bad planets in the sign of Cancer, Mars, for example, or Saturn, then I will probably not get along with the United States. Okay, this is another method. This is obviously much more simplified than the rulership, but this is just an easy, straightforward one that you can use using the list of countries and cities I have on the website. So basically you would look at your happy planet, the highest planet you have in your chart. And then you would go to you'd find a city that has a similar chart like yours, the same sun sign. Any questions? No?
Yeah, go ahead, Ellen.
I have a blue line that goes straight through New York City, and that blue is for the moon.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to live in New York City for 15 years, and I can't say I was happy.
What does moon rule in your chart? So we have to look at your chart.
I have no idea. Can you help me out? I don't know how to figure that out.
Can you, you have your chart out?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me, and it's in whole sign?
No, it's in Placidus.
Okay. Where's Cancer? What house is Cancer?
Cancer is the second house.
Okay. So that could be second house or first house. And do you know what aspects does other planets make to the moon? Like if it has negative aspects, is your moon happy?
It squares Uranus. It trines Pluto.
Okay, here we go.
It squares.
That's why.
What?
So here we go. So it trines Pluto and it squares Uranus. So you don't have a great moon. So I wouldn't go to your moon. So that wasn't, so remember when I said initially, most people think, oh, moon line is where I would find peace or be home. But that's not how it should be interpreted. We have to see if our moon is negatively aspected. If it is, then I would avoid my moon line. So you have trine Pluto.
Oh, I'm glad I left New York.
Maybe you made more money there because it rules your second house. But yeah.
Hey,
I
Ellen,
wish.
you maybe copy and paste your two charts, maybe like the website link of your birth chart and the website link of your astro map, and drop that in the chat so we can all look at it.
I'm using two computers, so
Oh, okay. No worries, no worries. I
it's
was
hard.
thinking, oh,
hard
that's
to-
okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
No,
I would
no,
love
no,
to share my chart.
not.
Or just type the information in the chat. I'll just pull it out here.
Okay.
I can multitask. Does
Awesome.
anyone else want to ask something?
Yes. I'm not even, I'm not anywhere. I haven't even started. I mean, I've been watching you. It's just it's so new to me.
Okay. So are you familiar with your birth chart? Just your birth chart?
What do you mean, birth?
Like your sun sign, where's your sun sign? What's your rising? Where's your moon?
No, I do not know.
Okay. Yeah. So did you pull up your chart, or no, you haven't had? Did you
No.
open your on astro.com? Okay, yeah. It'll be better if you pull up your chart, but astrocartography is a tool we use in astrology. So it'll be helpful if first, like, I can maybe send you some information after the meeting, but basically your birth chart, everybody's birth chart is divided into 12 houses. Every house rules or represent an area of life. So the first house is me, second house is money, third house is sibling. With astrocartography, where basically what happens is that when you move to another city, your chart doesn't change, by the way. Everybody's moon, planets, everything is in the same sign it is. What it is just shifts. It just shifts. And sometimes it triggers certain planets, and that's how you get the lines on here. So I don't know if everybody already knows that, but your chart doesn't change when you do astrocartography. It just shifts. So when you get these lines, so for example, this is mine. My moon is normally in the 9th house, but if I go to, I don't know, Monterrey in Mexico, my moon will be in my IC. Okay, that translation or the interpretation astro.com gives you in here, it is very general, but trust me, it will make a lot more sense if you interpret it using rulership. So if you look at your goal, first of all, say what your goal is, and then look at this, the planet that rules that goal of yours. So for example, career, I'm going to look at my 10th house. 10th house is ruled by my sun. Make sure my sun is happy. I don't really have a great sun. It doesn't actually have any aspects at all. So what does that mean? Actually, it would mean someone who, if your planet is not aspected at all, then it's kind of like up to you in your will, whether you exert the energy on it or not. What does it mean when all the lines intersect in Canada? You mean like you have so many lines going through? Well, like, so
they're all together in the in some giant lake in way up there. Should I go there and live for the rest of my life, or?
No, you don't have to.
Oh, thank you.
No, you don't have to. No. If you have a lot of lines crossing each other, that probably means your chart already you have a lot of planets next to each other. That's why. So you probably have planets on one side of the chart, more planets like a stellium, right? Yeah.
I have most of my charts in the 11th and 12th. I have 6 planets there.
Yeah, that's why. So it's going to be the same thing if you go to another place. If you move it to the Middle East, it will also, you'll see a lot of lines at the same time, but that's because it's being activated. So not everybody can afford to move. And I don't want you to look at astrocartography as, oh, if I don't live in that line, then I will not be happy. Sometimes, or I've done a lot of readings where people have, I would say, try to erase their natal effect by thinking that astrocartography is gonna help them, and it's not going to do that. If you have, for example, a Venus, Saturn in your natal chart, relocating is not, you're still going to feel that. It's going to make it easier, but you have to remedy the harsh aspects that you have in your chart. So please don't think that astrocartography is going to be the solution to your natal chart. Is still the primary natal chart. It's always going to be the most dominant one. Yes.
My question is, what if you don't have a line going exactly through someplace?
Okay.
Can you live like within a few hundred miles of that line? Or?
Yes, I think there's a certain number. I think I've heard like 100 miles, and you can still feel the effect of the line. But sometimes it depends on your chart. Not living on a line is actually better for you. So, for example, let's say I have Jupiter, my happy planet. We all love Jupiter. We all want Jupiter, but my Jupiter is square, let's say Uranus. So that means it's on both angles. Or you have something else, another square. It's actually better for you to not be on a line, because if you activate Jupiter, you're also going to activate Uranus. So don't, like, nothing not happening in the map doesn't mean nothing is happening. There's still something happening. So that's why it's better to look at your map as a whole. This is obviously the simple technique. The best way you can make use of astrocartography is by using a relocation chart. So if you're advanced astrology and know how to interpret a chart, you'd go to AstroSeek. You would pick here, relocation chart, astrocartography relocation chart, calculate. Let me pick somewhere where there's no line. Okay, Colima, let's say. Okay, I would still interpret this chart. This is the most accurate way of using astrocartography, but of course, like, the other techniques are a simpler version, but the most accurate way of you seeing what's actually happening in the relocation is running a relocation chart. So it doesn't show in the map here. It doesn't really show, but look what I have. I have my moon close. It's not bad. It's not bad from my IC. That's still good. I have a stellium in the 6th house. I can see the north node in the 7th house. I can still interpret that chart. Another thing sometimes people miss is when they're using this. For example, sorry, I can think of my chart, and here it shows Jupiter. I see. But it doesn't show me that I also have Neptune in my DC. So I'll be thinking, oh, going to Merida, yay, Jupiter is great. But when I actually pull my relocation chart, I can see that my Neptune is in my DC, and I don't really want that. Okay. So this is just a general way of interpreting. But your best way is obviously pulling a relocation chart. That would give you the most accurate way. I already have, yeah.
How do you choose like the most harmonious? Because I feel like I have a lopsided chart and everything seems like it's complicating everything else.
You have a, what did you say?
It's like a lot of the planets are on the left and they're all connected and there's a lot of squaring, a lot of opposition. So how do you choose like
the most harmonious?
Yeah.
Instead of looking at the line, why don't you look at what's your goal? So if relocating is your goal, what are you relocating, for example? Are you relocating to, I don't know, invest in a house, buy a property? Are you relocating to find a job? So that's where I would start. I would identify my goal is first, and then I will activate the house that rules that house. I will activate the planet that rules that house. So that's why I said rulership is my favorite technique. It's simple. I know I'm talking too much here, guys, and I'm maybe confusing you, but rulership is honestly the most simplest technique. You go to your chart, you identify your your goal. I want to make money. Then I'm going to look at the ruler of my second house. Okay, I make money through my own business. It's my hobby, astrology. Then I'm going to look at the ruler of my fifth house, because fifth house is creativity, passion, business. Eighth house is making money through others. So that could be investing, that could be trading, managing other people. And then 10th house is a career house. So I'm in a career, then I would activate my 10th house.
Right. So, like for example, I was looking at fourth house. It's Pisces, ruled by Jupiter, but my Jupiter in my birth chart, there's opposition
with
Jupiter. It's hard for me to see.
Can you share your screen? Can they share their screen?
Think so. Oh, you are your host again. So it should. So if you click on the caret next to the share screen option, that will activate their ability to share screen, I believe.
Okay, multiple participants here. Try that.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So Jupiter, can you see it?
Yeah. Jupiter is opposite the moon.
Yeah, it looks like they're
no, it's a wide aspect. The moon is 15 degrees, I think. Your moon is 15 degrees and your Jupiter, so it's fine. That's 9 degrees. It's not really, it's fine.
okay.
It's a 9-degree orb, so it's fine. Opposition will be exact degree or 3 orbs.
So what is this one here?
That's an opposition. I think it shows in a lot of websites more than, but you can select under 3-degree orb, 3-degree or under 5-degree. But for me, I'll tell you, like the ones that you'll feel the most is when it's under 3-degree. So that's a wide orb. It's 9-degree. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So it's fine if I just look at Jupiter then, for if I was going for the fourth house.
But Jupiter also rules you, your first house.
My first house?
Yeah, because Jupiter rules Pisces and it rules Sagittarius.
Oh.
See. Yeah.
So Arwa, in like a step-by-step process, so if we were to do it like from beginning to end, like step 1, 2, 3. So the first thing that you would recommend is to define your goal, you said, right?
Yes.
Cool. Then once you define your goal, you want to find the house that corresponds to that goal.
Okay. So what I would do, I would go through, maybe the easiest way, go through all your 12 houses and write the rulership. So Yesenia, your first house is ruled by Jupiter, second house is ruled by Saturn, third house is ruled by Saturn. Just do that all over. And then, sorry, Mish, your goal. So what's my goal? I'm looking for, I don't know, I'm not able to find a job here, and work. Then I would look at things that rule my 6th house or 10th house. Depends what kind of work. Yeah, because work could be 2nd house, 5th house, depends what kind of work you're doing, how you're making money. Like 2nd house is more like daily income, 8th house is through investment. 5th house is my own business, 10th house is career. Okay. Yesenia, you have a day chart. So your malefic will be Mars, which rules your 5th house. But Jupiter is it's fine. Yeah, just be careful with the Mars line. Where's Mars? Yeah,
Most of it is
and
up
you
here.
have a weak Mars, so I would be careful with Mars because Mars is in its fall. Your Mars is in Libra. Yeah. The most simplest way you could do it is the list that I shared with you on my website. So look at your chart, look at your highest or strongest planet or whatever you want to activate. Okay, I want to feel, I don't know, vitality. I want to be able to shine. Then I would look at my angular houses or the sun if I have a good sun, like if it's not negatively. It doesn't have to be super strong, but it's not negatively. My sun, let's say I have a sun in Cancer, and I'm a very strong Cancer, or let's say I have the happy planets, that's Venus, that's Jupiter in Cancer. Then United States is a great place for me. There's obviously other countries. Italy is Gemini. Mexico is Scorpio. A lot of Latin America is actually Scorpio. Now this is like obviously the general energy of it, the sun sign of it. So for example, what would Scorpio country do for me? For me, it will highlight my first house, which is myself, because I have a strong Scorpio, I have Pluto, so I really enjoy being in Mexico. Whereas being in the States for me, it will activate my Mars because I have a fall in Mars.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
My question is in my relocation chart as to where I am now, which I've been here for 3 years. My Saturn is conjunct my sun in the 10th house, which is ruled by Scorpio in my relocation chart. Of course, my sun's a Scorpio. And I have had nothing but troubles here. Is that because the sun is conjunct Saturn?
And what other, yeah, that's one. And what other aspects does Saturn have too?
Let me see. Saturn is trine Uranus.
Okay, so I don't know if you go through a lot of ups and downs in your career. I don't know if you changed a lot of jobs or had to change a lot of jobs.
I'm handicapped and retired. I'm almost 70, so I don't have a career and I'm not going to be moving.
Okay, so why did you ask about 10th house?
Just am wondering if that's the reason why it's so difficult for me here. It has been, I've had nothing but trouble since I moved here.
So in your relocation chart, Saturn and Sun is in the 10th house, is that
right? Conjunct in the 10th house, Scorpio.
Scorpio and trine Uranus. And where is Uranus in your chart?
Let's see. That is 7th house. And that's ruled by Leo.
Okay. Can you share your screen? It'll be easier if I can have a look at your chart.
Yeah, if I can figure out how to do that. Share content screen. Nothing's happening.
Do you know why that is, Mish?
No, I don't think they shared it correctly. Can you go back? Can you click share and then on the options just share screen?
That's what I did, and I just keep getting this circle, you know, the never-ending circle going round and round, and it gets trying to do it, but it can't.
You might actually have some you might have some like some setting on your Zoom that is not allowing you to share your screen. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely.
But yeah, okay. So Saturn, Sun, you already have this conjunction in your natal chart. So your relocation just highlighted it to your midheaven, but you already have that in your. And the sun is important. It's how we feel great. It's our vitality. It's our energy. And you have Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of restriction. So that's one thing. But yes, other things could also mean, other things could also explain why you said it's trine Uranus. And Uranus is instability. It's ups and downs. So what's your rising? Just your natal chart rising.
It's Aquarius.
Okay. Aquarius is your ascendant. That's who you are. And it's trining. So Saturn is trining your rising. Yeah. So electric. So send me a message after this, but basically if we have harsh aspects, there are ways to remedy harsh aspects. Some people, a lot of people come to me for astrocartography, and a lot of their goals is to change things, but for a lot of people it's their natal chart that needs to be remedies or things that they need to do. For example, having Mars in the 4th house is someone who probably has a lot of problems in their house environment, maybe with landlord, maybe people they live with. That doesn't mean this is going to be your life forever. How you could remedy it is by gardening, by planting flowers, roses specifically, because Mars is aggression and sharp objects, and roses have thorns. You can paint one side of your wall red. If you have Mars in the 7th house, that like the country United States, if you have Mars in the 7th house, that doesn't mean you're always gonna argue with for the rest of your life with whoever person you date. There are ways to remedy this. You could stay active with your partner. You could live separately from your partner. You could, that basically that Mars energy needs to go somewhere else. So sex, traveling, take parts in active like sports, but that Mars needs to be activated elsewhere, or else it will manifest in your charts. So it's always good, like, you know, when, I don't know if you've all had like birth chart readings, but a good astrologer will tell you how to remedy harsh aspects. You know, they're not gonna be like, okay, yeah, it is what it is, because we're supposed to use astrology to also fix like what's off. Yeah. But I want you to avoid doing is using relocation to kind of change your natal chart. Maybe you're someone who struggles with relationship, relocation might ease it, but we need to deal with that problem, whatever it is. I don't know what else is, let's say you have North Node and Moon. Wherever you live, you're always going to have that North Node and Moon person show someone, a female. So Moon is a really important sign, and the North Node is what we don't have, but we are here to learn. And one way it manifests, or usually actually manifests, as someone who comes across really put together, physically beautiful, looks very feminine, appears to be very feminine, but actually what they're projecting is the things that they need to learn in this lifetime. Because Moon is our emotion, and the North Node is what we don't have in this lifetime. So that conjunction usually manifests as a woman who looks very feminine, was put together, but as soon as she gets into a relationship, the guy is like, whoa, I thought she was emotionally stable, but she's not. So that's one way it could manifest.
Yeah.
Moon, North Node.
Question on your chart, if you're looking at a particular line, how do you know if it's to look at your Venus with IC or DC or AC or MC? How do you know which line to look at?
Okay, so your AC is your rising, IC is your 4th, DC is here, and DC. So I don't know if you already know, Mish, but basically when it says Venus IC, is this your chart? No. Let's go to your chart just for as example. So you have Venus in 7th, So when it says Venus IC, basically your chart is going to rotate where this Venus goes here. So basically your rising is going to be Cancer. So that's what it means, the IC. So Venus is going to be in your IC. So you can either mentally calculate that, or you can just use the relocation chart. So it basically just moves. So yeah, your rising will be Cancer then, if it's Venus IC, the line on. If you're on Venus MC, your rising will be Capricorn. Just shifts your chart. So for example, let's say in one of these two positions, the rising falls in Neptune. I personally avoid Neptune AC, guys. And most people who born with the Neptune AC, so Neptune is illusion. We cannot see clearly. Neptune IC people usually struggle with who they are. And it's always, these are one of those people who are supposed to travel and move abroad. And that's where things will balance out. But that's one thing I'd be careful of, Mish. If you're just using this, is pull a relocation chart and see what else is going on in your angular houses, 1, 4. Yeah. Because you could be looking, oh, Chicago, Jupiter. But then when you look at your relocation chart, Jupiter is in your, Pluto is also in your, let's say, IC. And that's not something that you want to do, you want to have. Yeah, so your relocation chart is always the best way. But if there's anything that you guys got out of this, is interpreting these lines. So Venus for you, Mish, will stimulate what Venus rules in your chart. Moon will stimulate your Cancer house. The sun will stimulate your Leo house. So that's how this is supposed to be interpreted. Yeah. For some people I know, I've done their chart, and Saturn was actually a good place for them. Because that's where they were able to, because it ruled their 10th house career. I did have some. Okay, maybe another thing, I thought I would leave that at the end. I can share with you some natal aspects that shows that you're a person who's likely to relocate. So, you know, some people are naturally like nomads or travelers. They don't sit still. So this is just looking at your natal chart. Don't use Astrocartography or anything for this. So here, so these are some aspects to show in a person's chart that they are likely to move abroad or move a lot. So the first one is the ruler of your ascendant in the 9th house. So the ruler of your ascendant in the 9th house. Why 9th house? Because 9th house is the house of travel, foreign countries. Or the ruler of your first house in the 12th house. And that's the furthest house from the self. The first is the self, and the 12th house is far away. Also, you want to see if you have any of the visible planets. So not Pluto, not Uranus, not Neptune, the other planets in cardinal signs. Why? Because these are active signs. They move a lot. So in Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, if you have any of these planets in these houses, this shows that someone is likely to move. If you have planets in the 3rd sign from the ascendant, so 3rd house, that's also a house that's to do with travel, but usually it's short distance travel. Or if you have it, or the 3rd house, because the 3rd house is also the 12th house from the 4th. So 4th house is your home, and the 3rd house is the 12th house from the 4th. So that shows someone who's likely to, I have that, shows loss of roots or groundedness. I come from United Arab Emirates. I'm all the way here. I haven't gone back for a long time, you know, so it shows someone who's likely to move very far away. I also have Jupiter in my 12th house. Since I was 18, I've been moving. I've lived in China. China is a Libra country. My 12th house where Jupiter is in Libra. And that's where I had my first my job after graduating. Or if you have planets in the 9th house, I think I've already mentioned that. Especially the moon, because the moon also represents the home. 7th house planets, 7th house is opposite our ascendant, so that also shows someone. For example, if you have Jupiter in the 12th house or the North Node in the house 7th house, that shows someone who is likely to be with someone or get married to someone from completely different country. Okay, because 7th house is the opposite house from us, the furthest house. So these are just some aspects that shows you're likely to relocate. Of course, you can look at transits, but that could be completely different things, or your solar return chart that shows something hitting your 4th house. I see where might show relocation. But yeah, these are just other things. Does anyone want to ask any questions?
I see a lot of very confused faces, and this is the point of how nice it is to have someone who is so well versed in this. And although it seems great to be able to just go to your chart and then go to your astrocartography and know what needs to be done, this is the importance of going to somebody that really has studied this and can understand it. But once again, having your intention, so having whatever that goal is, like Arwa was saying, if it's about career or if it's about money, if it's about love, if it's about whatever it may be, you know, there's a lot that can be shared from this. And this is like very intricate details that you know, it takes a lot of time and experience for understanding. So definitely, if this is something you're considering, as you can see, Arwa is definitely an expert in this area. And yes, I know I see a lot of people who are like, what?
I know it's a lot. Please maybe like check because I already like posted some questions about this or some post on my Instagram. So I hope that will help. Check the link that I sent you of my website. That will help. If there's anything to take out of like today's like meetup, don't worry, I don't need your money. Just please don't think that Venus is going to give you the love of your life and Jupiter is great for your career and Mars is going to kill you and Pluto is going to destroy you. Just don't look at the lines because that's not how it's interpreted. That's why we have astrologers. Astrocartography is still part of astrology. You have to know how to interpret a chart. So you don't need to come for me for a reading, but if anything, just don't look at those lines and don't think, oh, there's no lines going on here, so nothing is happening. No, that's not what it means. Something is obviously happening, and maybe no lines is better for you because you have a lot of squares. If you have a good planet squaring a bad planet, then it's better for you to not go on any lines because it's gonna stimulate the bad one and the good one. So yeah, I know it's a lot. I do my reports written. And sometimes people are like, no, I want to do it over a call. I'm like, just read the report first. It's usually like at least 10 pages because it's a lot. And then I'm like, come back to me. And they don't come back because everything is in there, or they will have questions, or they will take a while because it is a lot. I get that from people. It's a lot to digest. If you're looking for like also, oh, where's the perfect place for me? Sorry to tell you, but it's very few people that will have the perfect place because there's a lot going on in your chart. Maybe it's great for your love life, but maybe not a place that good for your home long term. Depends on the season of your life too. Depends on the season of your life is really important, you know? So yeah.
So we can contact you through your website?
Yes, you can. Check out my Instagram. I do have one of Astrocartography's post pinned. So yeah, you can contact me through my website or Instagram. Yeah. And give me a few more days and I'm going to actually review the list on my website where I go through the cities here. So this is the simplest, most easiest way. I'm gonna double check this list. I do have some more few things to add, but this is one of the easiest ways that you're like, okay, I'm gonna get along with this country because the sun sign of that country highlights one of my good planets. So yeah. Mish, any questions or?
So
Well,
many questions. Go ahead, Diane.
My big question is, you know, because I am so old and I'm not going to be moving again, you know, how do I deal with Saturn conjunct my sun and some of the other really horrible things going on in my part here?
Then send me your birth chart. Let me have a look. But it wouldn't be astrocartography. It would be like reading your birth chart and understanding what's going on and how to remedy it. Yeah.
Okay, so
I'll
you go
give
back to the birth chart.
Yes, I wouldn't use I wouldn't really use a location chart because it sounds like what you're telling me, you have harsh aspects and we need to remedy these harsh aspects.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know if you use WhatsApp. You can also reach me on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I do have WhatsApp. Yeah. This has been very informative. I really appreciate it.
You look like a lot of you might, I know it's a lot, but yeah, I hope it was somehow helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
It unlocked something of why some things happened when I was living in Korea, because it is in my 12th house, Scorpio. Korea is Scorpio. Mercury was there. I was very restless and wanted to travel while I was there. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I had my spiritual awakening when I was in China and when I was in, of course, I didn't know my relocation chart then, but later on I realized I was sitting on Neptune, Uranus on my ascendant. And when I was in China, I literally saw things. I saw things and I felt things and yeah. And China is a Libra country, so I activated my 12th house, which is the subconscious. So the almost 3 years I was there, I was doing a lot of healing, a lot of like just, it wasn't planned. I didn't want to do any of this. I just wanted to get away from my family, but it led me here. It opened a lot of things. So it is very interesting. It really is interesting to see how the energy of different places basically activates your chart. I actually would like to hear more people if they've like tried Astrocartography. Maybe you can share.
Try. I mean, to be fair, I was one who was like, oh yeah, Venus means love. I'm there. But actually, I mean, since you had mentioned that my chart was
7th house.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I love Cape Town. Cape Town is like I adore it. Actually, I have mine up. Yeah, but I've traveled to many countries in the process, and it's just been nice to like go back to those places. Yeah, so yeah, I think this is mine, right? Yeah. So yeah, like I don't know if that's I have way too many tabs open as well. Yeah. But I've always had interest in going back to the United States, but every time I'm here, I'm just like, oh, I don't feel like I belong here. I feel like I belong in Africa.
Well, if it goes through your Venus line, and you have a strong Venus, so yeah.
But yeah, that's just fine.
Oh, Eva?
So I'm like looking to, because like you said, I live in Boston. I never felt like I belonged up here. I grew up here, and it's like I got to get out. So I'm looking to retire, and it's like, how do you figure out like relocating for retirement?
So the easiest one is like to look at your strongest planet and then looking at the city or the country that has the same sun rising, the sun sign. Or do you have any places in mind?
Well, I kind of I'm really open anywhere. It's somewhere warm near the water. I know that's really like, but I just know that that's either that or it needs mountains. Some sort of water. I was kind of looking at maybe San Diego or North Carolina, South Carolina in the States, but I'm always open to
moving more.
yeah. Yeah. It just
So yeah, if it's retiring, you're not really interested in work or finding career, then I would look at my fourth house, the ruler of my fourth house, or my moon, as long as these two are happy. So of course, don't go to the moon line if your moon is fallen, or if there's Saturn next to it, or it's square in Neptune, then it'll drive you crazy. But
I think I have to have you do my chart. I looked at all that and I was like, oh my gosh, the lines and then even matching up all that. I was just
yeah,
really overwhelmed. And
it can be. It can be. And also there's so much like I said, like there's sometimes like wrong information about it out there, like I did a chart for somebody, and Jupiter was actually, I remember thinking Jupiter, don't go to Jupiter, even though Jupiter is like the great benefic. And it was because it was squaring something else. So it was, for this particular person, it was actually better to go on a place where there's no lines. So none of these angular houses are stimulated. Yeah.
can you
So-
show what it, sorry, can you show what it looks like to when you say squaring on the chart?
So in the chart, the best way, instead of just looking at you, we'll go to the aspect table.
Okay. Yep.
So Neptune here squares Venus.
Oh, okay. Where the squares
For
are?
example, yeah. So let me just double check. Neptune is 15 and Venus. So you're fine actually, Mish, even though you have a little bit of a I wouldn't be worried about Neptune because it's like 5-degree plus. But if it was a tight degree, then I'd be like, oh, forget Venus. Because Neptune is the planet of illusion. So when it comes to relationships, you might not see things clearly. Yeah, you might not see things clearly. Yeah.
Good to know.
But it's not a very tight aspect, so I wouldn't be worried. So still, I don't think Venus is still a fine line for you. Let me check MC. I would check her MC too. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Another thing, I don't know if you might be interested in knowing, a lot of people think, oh, I have so many squares in my chart. Trust me, having some squares in your chart is better than just having harmonious charts, because having some squares in your charts makes you get up and do things. When you have like a lot of trines, sextiles, a lot of easy aspects, things don't move forward. So squares is not a bad thing. Okay, when we're just looking at your natal chart, it's not a bad thing at all.
Can I show you mine?
Yeah.
You mind? Anyway.
No, go for it.
Let me find where it is. I put it. Okay. Is it showing?
Yes. So you have moon square Uranus. And the moon rules your 9th house. And Uranus squares your you're a Scorpio. You were born in this place that you're born in? Yeah, sorry, you live right now in the place,
I live in Boston, which is way over the bridge. Yeah.
but this is not where you were born.
No, that is where I was born.
This chart. Yeah, this is your birth chart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I would avoid the moon line. So, for example, for her, the moon is fallen. So your moon is not happy in its home sign. So moon is not a great line for you to be in. I would actually look at your sun line because you have Venus there. But yeah, not moon line, not for you.
How do you
Also
figure
look. How?
what's the line?
So the table, the rulership table. So moon is naturally in the sign of Cancer, and it's not happy, very not happy in Scorpio. It's fallen. So you would feel the moon a lot if you go on your moon line. You'll feel like the negative effects of the moon because you don't have a happy moon. But for example, you have actually Saturn is one of the malefic planets, but you have a happy Saturn. It's in its home sign. So Saturn is not a line that you should run away from. I wouldn't fear Saturn for you. Yeah, and Saturn also rules your 4th house. So Capricorn countries actually would be good for you.
Capricorn?
Capricorn countries, yes.
How do you know what sign countries and cities are?
You pull a relocation chart, so you can find the country of like different places. Obviously, not the time for every single one of them. It's a bit hard, but some popular like United States, it's out there. Mexico is out there. But there is a list, and I'll update the list because I actually have. If you want, I can show you actually different states. Now, just quickly, maybe you can take a screenshot. But I still need to go back and update the list in my website. But this is the sun sign. The sun sign is the date of when the country, the city was founded. Yeah, so for example, where I'm from, United Arab Emirates, it's the 2nd of December. The sun sign is in Sagittarius. If we know the time, then we will know the rising. But the rest of the planets you already know. You don't need the time. If you know the date of the country or city has been founded, then you can pull up the chart easily.
So this is according to your sun sign, you said, right?
Yes, this is one of the easiest way. Look at your happiest planet, and then go to for example, my happiest sign or planet is in Venus. I have a happy Venus. Venus is ruled by Taurus, and I would look at Taurus countries. But again, this is very general, yeah, because, for example, I said USA is Cancer, but USA on one end chart and the other, like California is actually, California, I think, is Sagittarius rising, whereas, like, for example, New Mexico is Scorpio. So that, just speaking in general, like the overall energy of the place. So it's just to see if you're compatible with that place. You're basically looking at your synastry with the country's synastry and what that place will stimulate. And then I believe I have this already in my website. But yeah, I'm gonna update it. Sorry I didn't do that before the session, but some places do need to change.
I wanted to mention that career is in 3 places here.
Yeah, that's yeah. There are some places that are repeated. So of course, South Korea is going to be different than North Korea. But I believe in general, a lot of the Asian countries are, except like Japan is Scorpio, China is Libra, Singapore is Aquarius, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not so sure about North Korea and South Korea. I will guess South Korea is Capricorn, but yeah.
So here it has North Korea and South Korea and Leo, but then it has just Korea and Scorpio, which is what I had seen
Yeah.
at first. So is that just taking all of it in?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I have to check it. I have to go through them again. You said it's Leo first? Leo.
Yeah, let me go back to, yeah, Leo says North Korea, South Korea, and then Scorpio just says Korea.
Okay. North Korea is one actually I'm not so sure of. But yeah, I have to go through and check all of them. But basically the chart of the country, and also you can, if you can read or interpret the chart by yourself, you can actually see like I was actually manifested. You know how we read up someone's birth chart and be like, oh yeah, she has a Venus in Taurus, she does this and that. You can actually see the same thing in the country. For example, like Sweden is Sagittarius sun, and the moon is in the 4th house in Leo, and it's trying the sun. And what do we all like know about Sweden? So the sun is in the 4th house, which is home. And when someone says Sweden, the thing I think about is IKEA. This is what Sweden knows as, and it makes things of home. And IKEA, and they have the sun in the 4th house. And Mars is also, I think Mars is exalted, so it's happy, and they have they produce a lot of things, right? What else? So for example, if you have a good Sagittarius, you know, Sweden would be a good place for you. England is Capricorn sun, but the rising is Libra, and Venus is in Aquarius. The midheaven of, not the midheaven. Is it? No, yeah, the midheaven of England is actually, guys, sorry, I can show you the chart if you want. But something crazy, like the midheaven of England is Cancer. Cancer is known as woman. The ruler of Cancer is also in that sign, and England mostly favors like women, like the queen was female. Most politicians we know are females. What else? Even Kate is favored over William, right? Queen Elizabeth was favored over King Charles right now. So there's a lot of emphasis on women when it comes, and you can see it in the chart itself. It's crazy.
This is amazing. Well, we are running out of time here, but like I said, having someone like Arwa on your side, if you are thinking about relocating, I can speak from personal experience. I had a chart done, a couple of years ago now by Arwa, I was lacking a lot of purpose, and I still go back and read. It is a very lengthy document because you're not just getting like a quick synopsis. Like, she gives a very detailed analysis of your ruling charts, your, what you should do, what you're destined to do. Mine was focused more on purpose. I asked Arwa to come back, and because I truly believe that she is very much living in her purpose, and I highly recommend it. So if you are thinking of relocating, or if you are looking for like a birth chart analysis, I highly recommend it. It's something that you will consistently go back to. Like I said, I have it up right now because I look at it maybe like once a year, maybe that's a lie. I look at it once a month because I'm thinking something's going to change. But like I said, I highly recommend it. I think it's a really, really great opportunity, especially if you are looking to relocate as well. But yeah, so thank you. Actually, That's so, that was only a year ago. I thought it was longer than that. I'm looking at my chart. Okay. It's only been a year ago. Yes.
Yeah, it
So
feels like forever.
yeah, it feels like much longer than that, right? Anyways,
Mhm.
all about my
Yeah.
purpose. But yeah, so thank you everyone for joining
Thank you so
today.
much.
I'm going to send this recording. I believe I have everyone's emails. If you have it added to meetup.com, then you do have access to this recording. I'm just going to start sending recordings to people that join because it's obviously incentivizing people to coming. I will send it to Arwa as well. You have her website, you have her Instagram. And once again, yeah, thank you all for allowing myself, Arwa, and all of you to live within your purpose, sharing the spiritual gifts with one another and coming to the safe space and sharing space with one another. Tuesdays, we always have Uncovering Spiritual Gifts, and there's a lot of new events coming up as well. First week of September, past life regression. We're having Andy come back to talk about psilocybin mushrooms and spirituality, and a couple more things that I have in the mix, maybe a book club. It was Yesenia's idea. I can't take it from her. It was Yesenia's idea. I'm just making it happen. So if you ever have any ideas that you are interested in seeing topics, whether it's astrocartography, more astrology, plant medicine, whatever it may be, send me a direct message. Yeah. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. And thank you, Arwa.
Thank you so much.
Ew.
Been amazing.
Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
my name is Diane Jensen, by the way, not Reverend Simmons.
Yeah, that was, you can be whoever you want to be.
I don't know where that came from. I'm going to have to look at these settings when I get home soon.
But yeah, I hope it was informative. You can find a lot of things on my website. I am changing my website. I'm actually transferring it at the moment, but it's still online. So yeah, keep hold of that link. I am going to update it in a few days, and you can message me on Instagram if you have any questions. So yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you
Have a good
so much.
night.
You
Thank
too.
night.
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.